Talking about social distancing, in this time of social distancing, one tech entrepreneur is shouting from the rooftops, literally, that staying home saves lives. Joining us right now is Reddit and Initialized co-founder Alexis Ohanian. He bought billboards in Times Square urging people to self-isolate. You can see it right there. 100,000 person conference canceled, saves 200 lives. Alexis, thank you for joining us this morning. When did you get this idea to do this, and where did it come from?
I've spent a lot of time, whether it was co-founding Reddit or even just spent a lot of time on social media. And one of the things I found is that out-of-home advertising not only works in the physical locations where you're advertising, but it also can generate quite a story. It's like the one ad format that can go viral. And so it was probably just up one night, and it popped in my head.
How many days ago?
Reading Twitter. Now, just a few days ago, we turned it around pretty quick. I was pretty proud of the Initialized team to get it all up. Probably
what's a billboard in Times Square go for these days?
It's actually surprisingly reasonable, all things considered.
You want to help us in case I may want to buy a billboard? I'm just asking as a friend.
It totally varies based on location, but it ranges from anywhere in the thousands to hundreds of thousands.
So how about Times Square if I were to buy one?
It genuinely depends. You have to go on AdQuick.
You're being politic. We'll leave it alone. Let me ask you a different question, which is about millennials and so many of the young people out there. Some of them taking it very seriously, but so many not. I'm looking at a tweet right now. The coronavirus made flights so cheap, I think it's finally time to start traveling. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So what do you make of that? And you see that all over social media right now.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Look, I think that sort of apathy towards coronavirus it's not just millennials. I think across the board, a large percentage of folks have not taken it seriously. I think in large part because they're not appreciating the fact that you can not display symptoms and still be carrying it, and you could, get it, but still recover if you are healthy. And I think the charge for all of us as Americans right now is to decide that the greater good, the people in our society, specifically the elderly and those with health conditions, weakened immune systems, they are a priority right now. And it's incumbent on us to, not go to war, but really just go to our sofas and
Alex,
stay home.
Alexis, I'm sorry. Here's the question, which is, how do you do it? And the reason I say how do you do it is, I constantly am being told, don't panic, people. Don't panic, viewers. Don't panic, anybody. Frankly, if I'm being honest about it, I wish that we had panicked people more and earlier.
Mm-hmm. With exponential growth, that is usually actually the best bet. You would rather do more earlier to try to stave off that kind of growth versus doing less and then wondering how much more you could have done. And so, look, I think this is now an effort that all of us are required to participate in. And I want to see, we're seeing more people talking about supporting their local small businesses with gift certificates. Things like that are going to be vital because we've got a lot of folks who are going to be severely economically affected by this. And, frankly, a guy like Andrew Yang's $1,000 a month proposition doesn't seem so unreasonable right now at a time when I think even just some small direct cash infusion would make a huge difference on a lot of American lives in the next 6 months.
Alexis, finally, what do you make of the misinformation that does seem to be spreading on social media? Facebook has tried to tamp down on it. It's actually become a unique and interesting issue insofar as that, at least up until now, Facebook's policy has been not to try to tamp down on some of this misinformation. On this, they say they will. I don't know if you think this is going to change the dynamic when it comes to politics and everything else in the future as well. But what do you think that social media companies should be doing?
Well, I think it sets a really good precedent that actually just earlier today, all the major companies, all the major social media companies, including Reddit, announced steps and actions they're taking to prevent the spread of misinformation about coronavirus. And I think there are going to be new procedures in place as a result of this because this event forces the hand of all these social media companies to say that, yes, we can actually editorialize. And, when it's the public good at stake, I think it's absolutely the right decision. And for what it's worth, there are also companies that are finding opportunities, and I think that's the thing that's very heartening to me. We see so many companies across the board that are looking for ways to pivot and try to turn their resources and their expertise to help A food kit company, Gobble, is making semi-prepped meals very, very accessible now to as many people across the country as they can, because going out to have a nice meal isn't viable, and with more people at home preparing their own food, these sorts of things are going to become much more important, not just for families, but for folks who are living alone and are among those who would be most affected. So,
Alexis, thank you for calling in.
Sure.
I really appreciate it.